as you get older,
Yep.
you have to look at things in a different way.
Mm-hmm. I'm keeping my fucking hands up.
I'm not reaching for no gun, bro. Can I move my phone?
Might unlock all kind of strip clubs in Omaha. We don't know. This is musty. This is disgusting at the highest level.
Floyd Mayweather just threw another jab at Terence Crawford following his recent traffic incident, and it was harsh. Speaking about Crawford's over-the-top celebration, Mayweather mocked how the Omaha native behaved after defeating Canelo Alvarez. If a victory over Canelo makes Crawford act like he owns boxing, what would happen if he beat better fighters like Manny? Mayweather said. He claimed every boxer knows his limits, and Crawford's win, something Floyd handled easily years ago, made him overly excited since, in Mayweather's view, Crawford isn't on the same level.
Check yourself. Another point. Floyd Mayweather, he don't carry no guns. Floyd don't carry guns.
That criticism went beyond boxing. Mayweather also addressed Crawford's offering issues, referring to the fighter's recent encounter with Omaha police. Floyd called it unfortunate and embarrassing, emphasizing that rather than making headlines for the wrong reasons, Crawford should have been home with family, celebrating his victory and his place in boxing history.
We've had a lot of comparisons between Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. We've even had the conversation to go as far as who would win in the fight between Terence and Floyd, and I truly don't know the answer to that question.
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah. Who will win that fight?
Floyd.
Floyd will win that
Yes,
fight.
sir. I love you, Terence.
Always figures it out.
Yeah, he's a chess master. Yeah, his IQ in
But
that
the
shit
funny
is
thing
crazy.
The headlines Floyd mentioned began forming early this morning in downtown Omaha. Just hours earlier, the city had held a large parade honoring Crawford for his Canelo win. Fresh off one of the biggest victories of his career, Crawford was the highlight of the celebration. But by night's end, the tone had changed entirely. According to Omaha police, around 1:30 a.m., officers downtown saw a vehicle driving recklessly near North 12th Street and Capitol Avenue. They initiated a stop on Cass Street. 4 people were inside, including Crawford and his head of security, Qasim Shabazz.
I'm not reaching for no gun, bro. Can I move my phone?
Bug Crawford being harassed by cops and pulled over by the cops right after the parade. This is diabolical.
Later that day, police issued a statement explaining their side of events. They said that while officers spoke with the driver, one noticed a loaded gun on the floorboard of the driver's side. For safety, all 4 passengers were ordered out of the car at gunpoint. After verifying identification, the driver was confirmed to be Terence Crawford, who was cited for reckless driving. The statement also addressed firearms found in the car, confirming one passenger, identified as Crawford's security team member, was legally armed. Authorities emphasized that all 4 were legally licensed to carry weapons.
Once they had stopped, Crawford was identified as the driver. According to police, officers observed a firearm on the floorboard on the driver's side. All 4 people, including members of Crawford's security team, were ordered out of the vehicle at gunpoint. I spoke with the head of Crawford's security this afternoon, who says he's still shaken up.
Fans who had cheered for him hours earlier now saw the same champion in handcuffs on Cass Street. Many expressed disappointment, saying the night overshadowed what should have been Omaha's proudest weekend. Others criticized Crawford directly, accusing him of poor judgment and reckless driving. Local outlet KV quoted an officer who said the firearm became visible when Crawford reached down for his license and registration.
Bro, I got a crazy clip to show you guys right now. But isn't that a policeman holding a gun to the 3-time undisputed world champ Terence Bud Crawford's head? What did he do that was so bad that you had to pull him over?
The officer explained that when Crawford leaned forward, the firearm was visible near his feet, prompting the decision to order everyone out at gunpoint. According to the same report, all 4 occupants were handcuffed before the matter was resolved. During the stop, Crawford could be heard clarifying that he wasn't reaching for the weapon. He raised his hands and stated he was cooperating.
That was a nightmare. You know, future husband, just had a brand new child and, you know, children and, you know, and stuff like that. And to know that I almost lost my life last night because we had a police officer that don't know how to articulate a traffic stop.
That claim was later supported by his security chief, Qasim Shabazz, who offered his own account. He completely denied the officer's statement. According to Shabazz, Crawford never reached for any documents since he didn't have them on him. Shabazz said Crawford had already informed the officer that his license and registration were left at home, so there was no reason to reach for anything. He added that both men had disclosed at the start of the stop that they were legally carrying firearms under Nebraska law. Despite being transparent, things still escalated. Bud said, "I have a firearm, too." The cop beside him panicked, shouting, "Hands up! Get out of the car! Don't reach!" But there was never a visible gun, Shabazz recalled. "We thought we were going to die, man."
I'm not reaching for no gun. Can I move my... You telling me the police at Omaha don't know who Terence Crawford is? Putting a gun in his face? Ridiculous.
Shabazz also denied claims of reckless driving. He said Crawford directly asked the officer if radar had been used. According to Shabazz, the officer admitted that no radar was involved. "So how do you know I was speeding if you didn't use radar?" Crawford asked. Shabazz said he recorded the exchange, including the officer's words on camera, "I cannot. I admit that I do not have radar."
In Omaha, after receiving the keys to the city? Huh? Hey, yo, that cop gotta be some hater, bro. Hey, yo, that's like the NYPD holding Derek Jeter on gunpoint and arresting him after the Yankee championship parade in New York City. It doesn't make sense. It wouldn't even happen, bro. It wouldn't even happen. So this cop gotta be some hater, bro.
The contradiction between the police report and Shabazz's version has only intensified debate. Crawford's camp cited Shabazz's statement as proof that the stop was mishandled. Others argued that radar isn't required for reckless driving to be observed. Shabazz described the entire incident as tense and frightening. All 4 occupants, including him, were handcuffed during the stop. He said the escalation was unnecessary, especially after they disclosed their weapons and cooperated. At Crawford's request, a police supervisor and lieutenant were dispatched to the scene, overseeing the remainder of the encounter before the citation was finalized.
I think we should just let the man enjoy his great moment. He's a great fighter. And I see a lot of immature stuff, and I don't like the way things is going with.
By that time, however, the circulating video had already shaped the narrative. Fans debated whether police overreacted or if Crawford had created his own problems. Some viewed it as a blemish on an otherwise celebratory day for Omaha. Others echoed Mayweather's remarks, saying a fighter of Crawford's stature shouldn't be in such situations. The Omaha police leadership responded quickly. Chief Todd Schmaderer ordered an internal affairs investigation into officer conduct. Mayor John Ewing confirmed awareness of the viral video, saying he and the chief were monitoring the review, which will determine if procedures were correctly followed when the firearm was seen and when passengers were ordered out at gunpoint.
But they come up with guns drawn.
Wow, he had his gun drawn. Here's what TMZ wrote. Terence Crawford ordered out of the car by a cop holding a gun on a video. It says Terence Crawford was forced out of a car at gunpoint by police officers with tense exchange caught on video, and it's leading to an internal investigation.
For now, the only official charge against Crawford is reckless driving. Police have confirmed multiple times that all firearms in the car were legal and that no further charges will be filed. The contrast between Omaha's daytime parade and the late-night stop has defined the weekend. Residents who had lined streets earlier now woke up to headlines of their champion pulled from his car at gunpoint. Social media was filled with disbelief. Some called it the wildest 24 hours for a hometown hero, while others accused police of targeting Crawford. Critics countered that he should have avoided driving late at night entirely.
Investigation, but the damage is already done, my guy. The damage is already done. I'll be surprised if Terence Bud Crawford comes back to the city just disrespectful to the face of boxing. Not saying that the man's above the law, but Lord child, what was y'all doing? Gunpoint?
Mayweather has only stirred more controversy in that discussion by using the stop as proof of what separates their careers. According to Floyd, legacy is built not just on victories but on the decisions a fighter makes when the spotlight is brightest. In his eyes, Crawford ruined his own celebration by ending up in handcuffs the same night he was being honored.
Mayweather, I thought, took on some pretty tough 154-pounders and it was in a young Canelo and a very tough Cotto who was punching very hard from 40 to 54. You know, remember Cotto had knocked out Delvin Rodriguez at 54. He'd still done some damage at 54, and I thought
won a title at 60.
Yeah, and I thought he knocked out Martinez at 60, and I thought he gave Mayweather a pretty good fight at 54.
Crawford's camp has remained silent apart from a brief statement. His spokeswoman confirmed on Sunday evening that he had no further comment. No response has been issued from him or his team about the citation, police reports, or Shabazz's version. For now, the internal affairs investigation remains active. The citation still stands. Even though tension between Floyd and Crawford keeps rising, the rest of the boxing community hasn't stayed quiet. Everyone has their own perspective. And with names this massive, it's no shock that legends, commentators, and promoters are all weighing in.
You know, I don't go off of that. You know, Floyd is the best fighter, you know, in his era. And I feel like I'm the best fighter in my era.
Oscar De La Hoya, never one to stay out of a Mayweather debate, made his position clear. He practically laughed at the claim that Crawford's victory over Canelo puts him anywhere near Floyd. For Oscar, that comparison simply doesn't add up. He reminded everyone that Mayweather fought Canelo when he was younger, sharper, and considered a bigger threat, yet Floyd made him look like a novice. Crawford, meanwhile, had to go 12 rounds and earn the win. That's why Oscar insists the gap between them isn't close. To him, Mayweather was already royalty long before Canelo ever shared a ring with him.
I knew that. But Saudi kept saying, hold him. Keep boxing, keep boxing.
Does anybody know where Bo is?
I won.
Max Kellerman approached the topic differently. He's always the analyst who refuses to oversimplify the debate. Here he emphasized that it's not just about comparing a single opponent. He discussed how Mayweather established his greatness through sheer defensive mastery, frustrating fighters completely.
That's using what he got to shield him. He got a lot of security guards around him, and he's in the limelight and stuff like that. But in certain situations, he wouldn't be acting like that.
Do you like him as a fighter, though?
Yeah, he's a damn good fighter.
Yeah.
But like his core personality and his ways.
Crawford's greatness, on the other hand, comes from shifting styles mid-fight, adapting instantly, and dismantling opponents in ways rarely seen. Kellerman's opinion focused more on appreciating both versions of greatness rather than choosing sides. He described them as two distinct peaks that happen to follow one another.
Floyd Money Mayweather. Why is that the option? Well, for a few reasons. One, because Floyd doesn't like anybody being called the best while he's still living. So that's number one. Number two, they have been compared to each other since the fight, because Canelo Alvarez says, well, you know, I think he's better than Floyd. So now they're starting to get.
Then there's Bernard Hopkins. Hopkins didn't sugarcoat anything. He praised Crawford, saying he's as sharp as anyone right now, but reminded fans about something Crawford hasn't yet experienced: Mayweather's mental warfare. Hopkins said facing Floyd wasn't just about trading punches, it was about dealing with someone who made you question yourself every round. Hopkins even suggested that part of Crawford's excitement comes from never facing someone who could completely neutralize his weapons. And to Hopkins, that's the fine line between good, great, and legendary.
Pass the torch to the right guy. You know what I mean? He lost it to Terence, fair and square, and he passed the torch. So, if you're going to have another fight, cool, but you don't need to. You have nothing. He has nothing to prove. You know, he fought Terence and nobody else would.
Analysts also point to the difference in marketability, Floyd's charisma ability to play both hero and villain, and
Mike Tyson, however, sees it from a different angle. Tyson, who's already preparing to enter the ring with Floyd, said, "This is exactly the kind of buzz boxing needs, fans talking non-stop, media speculating endlessly, and the sport feeling larger than life again." Tyson even hinted that with Mayweather still active in exhibitions, anything's possible. He said, if Floyd's already training, why not think about Crawford?
But, you know, why do something when something else is working?
Easy answer.
Jeff Mayweather, on the other hand, defended Floyd by stressing the context often overlooked in these comparisons. By the time Floyd fought Canelo, he was already past his physical peak.
For Tyson, it isn't about records or risk. It's about delivering the kind of spectacle that makes the world pause. And that's the essence of it. This entire debate goes beyond Crawford and Mayweather trading shots. It's become something bigger. Promoters are engaging, networks are watching, and fans are splitting into sides, all envisioning the possibility of the two legends finally stepping into the same ring.
I don't go off of that. You know, Floyd is the best fighter, you know, in his era, and I feel like I'm the best fighter in my era.
One thing that I thought was really interesting about the fight, I always love watching you switch stances as effortlessly as you do. You didn't do that a lot in this fight. You didn't have to. Were you expecting not to have to?
No, I felt like I could have, but...
Eddie Hearn, meanwhile, has poked holes in the hype, arguing that Crawford's resume still doesn't compare to Floyd's and urging fans not to crown him too early. But even as Hearn stays skeptical, there's a stronger whisper running through boxing circles. Crawford's finally in control of his own career, able to face anyone he chooses. No promotional barriers holding him back, and Mayweather, as always, doing whatever pleases him. That's the kind of situation that makes wild possibilities seem real, even one as huge as Floyd versus Crawford.
You know, fights, you know, later down in the years. I think Crawford would just be able to break that defense. I don't know. The thing is about Terence Crawford, he has a very, very awkward style, very awkward foot movement and footwork.
And things could get even more intriguing from here. Mike Tyson's upcoming exhibition with Mayweather is already a huge draw, but reports about Tyson's health keep emerging. If anything disrupts that matchup, the rumor mill already has its backup plan in motion. Why not have Crawford step in as the replacement?
Oh, Mac, you've been training Crawford for years. Is he retired or is he going to keep fighting?
He just got to take a break.
Is Terence Crawford retired or is he going to keep fighting?
Oh, he's going to keep fighting.
He's going to keep fighting?
Yeah.
You're the man. Be man. Hey, congratulations. Enjoy the win.
Thank you.
Crawford stepping in for Tyson would instantly transform the card from spectacle to super fight. And it's not as far-fetched as it sounds. However, another potential matchup might already be forming for next year. Turki Alalshik recently grabbed attention by suggesting a major showdown between Terence Crawford and David Benavidez. The idea has rapidly spread among fans, especially with Turki hinting it could headline a Riyadh season event. With Crawford fresh off his win over Canelo Alvarez, the proposal looks like another massive clash under the Saudi banner.
Did you ever entertain a fight with David Benavidez?
You gotta understand.
I gotta ask you, bro, because I can't, you know?
My thing is, Benavidez is a big dude. Not to say I won't fight him. I fought his brother. His brother was big when I fought him. The only reason why I entertain Canelo is because he's not a big dude. He might be thick, but he's not a big dude.
But Crawford's trainer, Bomac, wasted no time closing the door. When questioned about the rumored fight, Bomac's answer was blunt: no, we ain't doing that fight. He didn't offer many details but made it clear that facing Benavidez isn't in Crawford's current plans. From his point of view, Crawford's career path is about focusing on the right opportunities, not chasing every name mentioned.
I'll say this. The crazy part is that he can do better. Big Bud can do better.
On the other hand, Benavidez himself dismissed the talk, explaining that he's already moved up to light heavyweight at 175 pounds. For him, dropping weight just to meet Crawford makes no sense. Between Bomac's rejection and Benavidez's position, the possible matchup lost momentum quickly, leaving Crawford to consider other super middleweight options instead. What fight do you think we'll see first? Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more updates.